We're about to get one of the most exclusive putter fittings, which is tour only, here at the barn at Scotty Cameron.
That's right, Scotty Cameron invited us down to see master fitter Henry Bryne, who's hopefully going to get us holing some more putts.
Yes, but it's so top secret, we can't tell you where it is, we can't take you inside, so stay tuned and we'll be right back.
See you later.
Henry, thank you for joining us on the green.
No worries.
You are obviously a master fitter for the pros on tour. We had an incredible experience in the barn there. Just talk us through a little bit about what we did, because we can't show it because it's that exclusive and secret. I had a lot of fun, Lewis. I'm sure you did as well.
Yeah, This is different for you as well, Henry, isn't it? Because you're not fitting tour pros today.
I'm not. I saw a couple of things that I don't see on a week-to-week basis on tour, but it was good. It just shows the performance benefits of studio style.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, let's just go through. I obviously came out with the Newport 2 Plus.
Yeah.
Why was this the best model for me? Why did you hand this one to me and you're like, this is going to be ideal for your show?
Yeah, it was really interesting with you, James, because your eyes gravitated straight away to like a Newport 2 style, very traditional, square edges, plumber neck. We tried that. We found that you had some, let's say, idiosyncrasies in your stroke. You had a tendency to aim it a little bit off the toe, strike it a little bit off the toe. So I felt a little bit of added forgiveness was going to help. So higher forgiveness, stability, higher MOI. So we tested with the Newport 2 Plus.
Yeah.
And that was really, really good. And then I just wanted to see with the scope and scale that we have with studio style, moving up into the square back 2 long design, and because that's even further in that range in terms of forgiveness and higher MOI. There we went a little bit too far, and it was a little bit off-putting for you.
Yeah.
So we're always trying to get that balance. I want you to use a putter that you like. You like the visual, the aesthetic, how it sets up behind the ball, but then it's given us the performance elements that you want, and the 2 Plus was exactly that.
Absolutely ideal. And Lewis, what have you got in your hands?
Well, I suppose, Henry, you can talk to, well, I suppose it's interesting before we get into the putter itself, but the actual process that we kind of went through is maybe different to what everyone else might go through to get into this point.
A little bit, but with every session we kind of open with a Q&A. I'm always talking to the player about historical putters that they've used, what their tendencies are, their preferences, likes, dislikes. Now you've admitted that you tend to be a little bit all over the map and you tinker quite a bit. But what's interesting is based on your history, you were straight into our fastback style. Just as it sat on the shelf, visually that appealed to you. So when we tested that with the single bend shaft, the face balance, the profile of that putter matched up with the profile of your stroke. We tested a couple of different models, including the fastback 1.5 with jet neck. That produced way too much rotation in your stroke and you were really struggling to control the face. We also tried the Phantom 7.2, which is a new release with our plumber's neck, mallet head, really good combination for some players. Not for you, unfortunately. That plumber's neck wasn't working, so that's where we're in the fastback.
Yeah. So how much of that process comes down to the player picking something that they like the look of, and then how much of it comes down to your expertise to say this isn't working or this is working? Yeah.
In an ideal world, we're able to pick something that the player likes, and that's what we found today with you. Sometimes we have to work away from the visual, the aesthetic, because ultimately it's going to be performance based, isn't it? 100%. I want you to hold more putts. In your case, we found that the holy grail, we found something that you really like that is really matching up with your stroke. So the message for me moving forward is less tinkering, please.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can do that. Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, and just before we move on to something else, talk about the neck. So that's something that a lot of people really overlook because there's clear differences in the head shape, but then people might not appreciate how important this section here is. Do you want to talk about that a bit?
Absolutely, yeah. We've got different neck profiles, so single bend shafts, we've got plumber's neck, we've got jet necks. They're all designed, people think and talk about toe flow or toe rotation and how that works in the stroke. And what we found with you, Lewis, which was really interesting, is how adaptable you were to the different necks. Which is not always a good thing because that just introduces more tinkering and more kind of testing out the waters. But what we found is that when you change the neck and it changed the rotation and how you release the putter head, that could in certain cases have a negative impact on how you were aiming the putter, because with more you were getting more rotation, you were aiming further right Credit to you, you're still hitting the hole from 20 feet. But we found that as I said, it was matchups, profiles of the putter, profile of your stroke, and this single bend was doing that for you. Plumber's neck was not good. That was causing massive changes in shaft plane. And with the jet neck, you were getting massive change in rotation.
We saw this with the technology that you had in the barn. Do you want to talk a bit about what actually goes on in there and how you can fit a player the best way possible?
Yeah, so we've got access to obviously a lot of different tools in terms of putter design, which is great, but then we ultimately need to see how they work and how the player matches up with that style of putter. So we use different forms of technology. We've got our GASP system, which is a 10 camera system. We've got our force plates, and then we use different things like a Vertex or our Quintic ball roll app to help to optimize ball roll and performance. So we adapt it from player to player based on our needs, but it's a fun process, and it was great that you guys were able to experience it today.
Yeah, it was really cool. You actually had you took the weights out and put something in the bottom of Lewis's putter as well, which I thought was really quite interesting too, which I'd never seen before.
Yeah, that was the sensor that we put into the weight port in the putter. It allows us to track exactly what's going on in the putter head through delivery, but it's a non-invasive way. Some other pieces of technology fit onto the putter, which can impact a little bit on the weight and how the putter performs. So that way we find it's a neat way that we can kind of check what's going on and look at things like the difference in neck profile and what impact that's having on you as the player.
Interesting.
Shall we go hit a few putts and and show the people that we can actually now putt? We've got 10 feet here. It's probably a little bit generous considering where we were putting from, but hopefully we can hole a couple.
We were longer before, but on a little bit truer surface.
Yes, more variables at play here.
But I think it's quite good to touch on the topic, like just how important it is to really like what you're looking down at as well, isn't it? Because you could have something which you might not like the look of.
How did that not lip in?
How does that not go? Is it going? No matter if you had something which you don't necessarily like the look of, but it is giving you those numbers, it must be incredibly difficult to get a player to buy into it if they don't like that type of
Very
profile.
much so. It hurts us then in terms of continuity. We spoke about it in the barn. With it did go.
I told you it was going. Told you.
10-second rule.
10 seconds. It was a bit over that.
If you like the look of the player or the putter, there's a greater chance of that putter staying in the bag for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
And what we find is that if you can see the performance benefits and the merits of a putter that might, you might be not be as drawn to, and you'll have a honeymoon period, you'll hold some putts, but as soon as it goes cold, you'll want to revert back. And really, we like continuity where we can.
But the one thing I really do like about this style is, there we go, is the acoustic and the feel. There is so much like difference and variables, obviously with different styles of inserts. Just talk to us a little bit about that, because you put something completely different in my hand and put this back in my hand, and I thought this was quite crisp, but it wasn't in comparison to another model.
Yeah, we've changed the materials involved in the studio style putter. So we've got our SCS Studio carbon steel insert with chain link pattern milling on the face.
Yeah.
Now that changes the acoustic. It makes it sound and feel quite soft. It gives us a certain amount of friction, which helps the ball into roll, so it really hugs the surface. But certainly compared to hitting a putt with a lighter milled putter in the barn, you could hear the acoustics were much higher pitched, which give the impression of a harder feel off the face. And with this, we got a really good balance between soft and solid.
Yeah, it was amazing. And he'll hit it straight in the hole. Yeah, down.
All right, Henry,
worst of putting in the office.
Talk us through what was going on with my putting then.
Yeah, we saw that you had a little bit of an issue with aim.
Yeah.
And then that was influenced the arc and path of your stroke. Your stroke was working predominantly inside to out.
Yeah.
And then we had to find the right neck profile to help you to find square through the impact area.
Yeah.
So for you, this fastback, we've got the line on top, we've got the high contrast finish with the silver and black.
Yeah.
So the combination of that was really helping you to aim the putter square.
Yeah.
That's having a positive impact on the path and direction of your stroke. And then with that neck profile, the face was really square through the impact area. So yeah, a lot of positive stuff there to see.
But see, that's interesting because I'm not thinking of that consciously at all while I'm putting, but
well, that's the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
We're trying to, that's why we've got so many different models on our range between Studio Style and Phantom.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of different SKUs, and you're trying to work between the different models to encourage the player to do the right thing subconsciously if you can.
Yeah, excellent.
It's quite interesting as well, because I think we went through a couple of different models, and I just wanted to bring out this long design. Can you just explain a little bit about why this may suit some players instead of something like more of your traditional? I mean, obviously it's a lot longer, but how is that going to be? This going to be more beneficial?
Well, yeah, not just is it longer. We've got a heavier head, we've got a heavier grip, we've got a stiffer shaft, so the weight is really distributed right across the putter.
Yeah.
And it works really well. We spoke before about players that had used a belly putter where the putter is anchored. That was outlawed a number of years ago, and as a result then we find that players have difficulty in some cases controlling the butt end of the putter. Some players will drive the shaft, some players release it early and the hands get active, and in doing so the face is changing quite considerably through the stroke. So by having the weight distributed right through the putter and having the heavier grip, it basically controls the butt end of the putter, stabilizes it, and makes it perform almost like a belly putter while not being anchored. It makes for a smoother stroke, both off the ball and in transition.
Right, before we let you go, Henry, tell us, who's the best putter that you've had in the barn before?
Great question.
Apart from us two, of course.
Not after that putting display.
You're high on the list.
Okay, I'll take that.
It's a slightly boring answer based here at Woburn, but probably Ian Poulter is the best putter that we've had through. His stroke is ridiculous, his confidence is high, and you put him under pressure, we know how he performs. So yeah, I think Poulter has to be the man.
Amazing. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time, Henry.
you.
That was amazing. What an experience.